Road transport operators have increased fares by 15%. The new fares take effect from Thursday, April 6th. The new increase will cover intra-city, that's trotro, buses, intercity buses, that's long distance, and taxi cabs. And the Ministry of Aviation has secured a 26,000-acre land at Ankasi in the Ashanti region to embark on further expansion of Kumasi Airport to an international status. Sector Minister Cecilia Dapa says the upgrade of the facility would ensure direct international flights from Kumasi. Some youth of WA in the Upper West region have embarked on a demonstration against the WA police following the shooting of a 24-year-old teacher for using an unregistered motorbike on Saturday night. The youth petitioned the Upper West Regional Minister Suleiman Al-Hassan to resolve the matter. So those were our major news highlights. Up next is the big one. Please stay. Welcome. Now, President Akufo-Addo has admitted the Galamsey menace is complex and its fight is a Herculean one. Speaking to the media on the sidelines of his tour of the Ashanti region over the weekend, he said, though complex, it is unsurmountable, assuring the government is devoted to dealing with it once and for all.
One of some complexity. You see how widespread it is, the forces and interests involved in the whole Galamsey phenomenon. I don't think we're going to be able to deal with it effectively by piecemeal measures. We need a comprehensive policy, which may even involve legislation to deal with it. And that is what my government is working on right now. Sooner rather than later, that policy will be outlawed. And you will have an opportunity to examine its effectiveness. But it is a major priority for us. We're working on it, and as I say, sooner rather than later, the policy for dealing with this phenomenon will be outlawed. But I promise you, it is going to be comprehensive, and it is going to be with the objective of dealing with this phenomenon once and for all in our country.
Well, Ghana's food security could be at risk soon if action is not taken to curb the illegal mining popularly known as Galamsey. While some farmlands have been destroyed in the efforts at illegal mining of gold, there are also public health concerns as dangerous chemicals could find their way into food crops that are grown by these farms, with these farmlands. With the government announcing its Planting for Food and Jobs campaign, which aims at employing some 750,000 people and making Ghana food sufficient. There are questions we would like to ask. Tonight on News at 10, we want to explore the impact of illegal mining on agriculture and Ghana's long-term food security. And Philip Abayori, who is the president of the Ghana Agricultural Chamber of Commerce, is joining me in the studio. Good evening, sir. I'm happy that you're here. One of the key questions we were asking ourselves was, how come that Galamsey has been around for quite some time, but it is now that we appear to be hearing more of it in the media and attracting comments from governments?
The state of destruction of our river bodies and then the land degradation by the miners. You know, small-scale mining has been with us for a very long time, but this phenomenon has become so massive that previously they used to mine. They don't mine in the river bodies, and they also do not really devastate the land as it is today. Heavy equipment such as bulldozers and excavators are now being used in small-scale mining. And the question is that if we have large-scale mining, and this is not called medium-scale mining, it's called small-scale mining, I think there's something wrong. Their disregard for the environment and also for the indiscriminate use of mercury and other chemicals which are injurious to the river bodies where we obtain our drinking water source and also fish. And even the total destruction of the ecosystem, which also provides us with at least a cover in the river bodies to help us to reduce the impact of the weather. It's really something serious that needs to be looked at, and it needs to be tackled.
How bad is the situation affecting agriculture?
You see, agricultural lands currently, some people are even offering their lands to these miners to mine because they pay them so much. But you see, this is in a short term. When you give up your land and it's being destroyed, and that is the only land that you depend on, and your generations to come will depend on, and you collect the money and get what you will need, and the land cannot be used again. I think that we need to encourage agriculture, and I think that this initiative by the government, Food for Planting for Jobs program, should cover some of these unemployed youth who have found themselves in this sector, so that they could have alternative livelihood and then to abandon this very dangerous and also unproductive long-term effect of our environment.
I know we export, as a country, we export vegetables to Europe, and the use of these chemicals which drain into the soil and rivers, if this is not controlled, how serious could this be for exports?
See, we're not even talking about export. We ourselves as citizens need to eat good vegetables or food that is very healthy. We need to ensure that our life expectancy is very long. We don't need to live short lives and then depend on exporting quality food for our other neighbors or people to eat. If care is not taken, and all these chemicals, which are very dangerous, some of them will last more than 100 years on the ground, and they pollute the river bodies and find their way into the food chain. The health effects are going to be very, very devastating. So we need to really take a serious look. I was reading, and I think the president has spoken about it, President Nana Akufo-Addo, and he mentioned legislation. And I think he was right, because if we had a legislation which empowered us to be able to license. But
we have so many rules and laws already which are not being applied. I mean, the extent to which Galamsey is destroying river bodies, the images we see every day are heartbreaking, considering that there have been laws all along.
Some laws are not so penal, perhaps because some of the laws are old. They do not really fulfill the current situation. So we need to really look at the mining law itself, the law that grants these licenses. The people involved in this are too many, and I will not want to estimate the number, because I know definitely that you are aware. If you look at the vast devastation across the country, then you know that there are enormous number of our population who are involved into this illegal activity. It's not legal, it's an illegal activity, and the state need to have that power to be able to at least curtail it. We do know that it's a source of livelihood for them, but as far as they go beyond where they are not supposed to work, because I know there are rules and regulations in the country which do not allow you to go to river bodies to mine. So they found themselves to go and do that, which is a crime. But it's unfortunate that these crimes have not been punished. We are not saying that people who are...
So you're suggesting that the laws should be made more punitive,
yes, punitive,
so people could feel punished,
yes, and it should
if
be a
they
chain.
pursue this illegality.
Yes. We are not saying that people who are into mining, their business should be closed down because it's an activity, but it should be done in the proper way. It should be done where it should be done. We also want to see the law even granting land owners and the land users the right to also obtain, even at where it's even necessary to mine, they should obtain a large chunk of the revenue to ensure that their livelihoods are not threatened, they will not be plagued with diseases and be uncomfortable whilst all this wealth is taken away from their land. We need to also look at it seriously to ensure that the state makes some money out of the activities, the legal activities, not the illegal ones. We need to also be mindful, because you look at the whole state, you realize that these are a group of people, there are so many, to create an alternative livelihood. As I said, we can use agric to ensure that. But the destruction, who goes back to repair this destruction? These rivers have been diverted. They are a source of drinking water across the country. So these people who have bought these machines and they are renting, they are doing a legitimate business, but where the machines go to is illegitimate. Are they the same machines that we need to use to go and re-divert? I think we need to get them to go and correct these mistakes, to re-go and dredge these rivers, straighten up. If at the end that is done, because they have a lot of machines, and they can go back and correct this as part of the rules, the new legislation we are going to set. Because I know that there's a legislation in the mining law that says if you go and mine, you have to reclaim. So large companies mine, they reclaim. The small scale too, I know definitely when you mine, after some time you need to reclaim. Why are they not reclaiming?
There are those who have also argued that the collapse of mining giants like Obuasi resulted in a lot of people who hitherto worked in the mines losing their jobs, and they had to fall back on illegal mining in order to make a living. Do you anticipate that government's decision to revive the Obuasi mine could have a positive effect on attracting some of these people who are engaged in illegal mining to now focus on legal mining and reduce the effect Galamsey has on the environment?
It could, it will, but then the number of people involved in this illegal mining is too much. We may not want to count the numbers, but they may be up to more than 1 million people. So we could use agriculture to get some of them off, support them so that they will have an alternative livelihood. But the main thing is that the destruction that is being caused need to be worked on. And that's going to cost a lot of money. What do we do with that? It's a very huge challenge for government and for all of us. So then we need to look at that, and then to make the law such that though the machine that went and dug that in must be the same machine to go back wherever it is. So there's a lot of work to be done. Investigations need to be done. We need to identify the people. Some may be doing legal, but when you enter into a river to mine, I don't think it's legal. So all those things need to be corrected. It's a massive industry, and you have a lot of strong people and etc.
I like the term massive industry. So there are those who keep arguing that Galamsey employs quite a lot of people. You have given a crude figure of 1 million. Over 1 million people could be involved in Galamsey, either directly or indirectly. Do you not see that if government begins to clamp down hard on Galamsey operations, we could have a rippling effect of unemployment coming back to bite us?
You see, an illegality is an illegality. We know that it's a livelihood. Where they are licensed to do their operations, they can go back there and do their legitimate work. And after that, they reclaim the lands. All I would say is that if we don't have a medium-scale license, we should cancel the small-scale license and move to medium, where experienced people who have good administration will put these miners behind them, license them to work with them, and when they finish, they reclaim the land, and we can hold people responsible. So that if we gave you 1 mile square and you have 2,000 miners working with you, they bring their gold to you all the time, and then they are not supposed to mine in the rivers. You yourself, you are not supposed to. And you are the one we know. If we come over the area and see that there is any mining activities going in that river, you are responsible, because those 2,000 miners or 3,000 miners are in a concession given to you to try and ensure that their livelihood is protected, to also ensure that while they are into this trade, the remuneration that they made, some is reserved for you yourself to add up your own to reclaim the land.
Reclaim the land, right. Mr. Bayoro, we're grateful for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming. This is still News at 10, and we're live on TV3 and live on 3FM 92.7 as well. We have more news for you. Please stay.
I am going to be your investment advisor for today.
This is how the money goes and doesn't come back if you just keep spending. If you're not careful, you'll be eating your fufu without soup. So you need Heritage Fund, a long-term investment for your long-term projects, child's education and retirement. Invest in First Fund to provide the best returns and ready cash in times of need. We can help you raise money for your business or even own part of a company.
Don't do this to your money. Top up your investments regularly at our partner banks using post-dated check or cash payment at our offices.
So, do you have any questions?
Investments advice made simple. Even children understand.
Your home provides both a sanctuary and personal freedom. It is also where your life unfolds, creating family memories, growing friendships, and nurturing dreams. With Azar Paints, each room becomes an opportunity for personal expression through our rich palette of colors. Trust the brand that millions rely on for consistent high quality, value for money, and lasting beauty. Azar, #1.
Weekends are a bit like several hour days put into one for our sport-loving fans. Several top matches, top-level competitions, various sporting disciplines that have been spread across. It can get a bit confusing, but no more, because of our new show,